Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. Today we're continuing on with the October 2023 NRL22 Course of Fire. This is stage 2 in the booklet. It is called Final Countdown, and it's everyone's favorite. It is a prone stage, and really there are two ways to approach this stage. If you're a top competitor, this is the time stage, so you do get bonus points. Now remember, no amount of time saved is really going to make up for a miss, but if you are one of those top competitors, there's a way to shoot this fast. And if you're not in the running or don't care about the extra bonus points for the tiebreaker, you know, it is a pretty straightforward stage. Prone, you're not moving around. There are multiple targets, which we'll talk about in a second, but 10 rounds, 120 seconds from prone position. You shouldn't be running out of time. Pretty comfortable situation. So let's talk about how we can tackle this stage. The stage description is as follows. On the start signal, you'll take a prone supported position and engage the targets in the following manner. Near large, 1 shot. Near small, 2 shots. Far large, 3 shots. Far small, 4 shots. So basically it is near large, near small, far large, far small, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4 shots. I'll put the target sizes in MOAs and mils down here, and essentially really that far target, 2.5 inch at 100 yards, that might be challenging, especially when you do hit the targets. They have a tendency to swing when they're on the hangers, so you will have to wait a little bit for that target to settle down before you re-engage. But definitely on the first couple targets, it's pretty easy to run through those first 3 shots, and then the majority of your time is probably going to be spent on the last 7 shots waiting for that target to stop swinging to re-engage it. So because we're basically going in order near to far, you know, feel free to dial for the first target and set your parallax, and then when you reach after the 3rd shot, dial up for the 2nd target. If you're trying to go fast and you don't want to waste time dialing or changing parallax between the two, set your parallax to halfway in between, something like 85 yards, and use holdovers. Or I would actually recommend for this stage, this is a classic example of where you might want to use hold unders. So let's say that the difference between 70 yards and 100 yards for your dope is, let's say, I don't know, half a mil. So if it's half a mil, I would actually dial for the far target, because we're engaging 7 shots on the far targets versus 3 shots on the near targets. So you want to be dialed for either the more challenging target or the target that you're engaging the most, and that's generally the strategy that I employ. So I would dial for the far target, about 1.8 mils for me, and maybe hold under a half or whatever it is for you. And because we're only engaging those first targets 3 times, all the concentration is going on the far targets. That's really only if you don't want to dial and you are going for speed. So that's what I would suggest. I would suggest dialing for the far target and then holding under. So pretty simple. Timer goes beep, put the rifle down, bipod and rear bag. Relatively simple. Gauge the targets 1, 2, 3, 4. So not much to say here. Like I said, there are ways, not dialing, setting parallax between the 2 targets, that will save you some time if you're going for those bonus points. But again, concentrate on making those hits. And remember, we're always starting on the the larger of the targets, either near or far. So if you take your time, because you'll have plenty of time to make your 10 shots, if you take your time and you can actually see where that bullet impacts on the plate, then you can make a wind correction when you go to the smaller target, because it's going to be less forgiving when it comes to wind or elevation changes if your dope isn't 100% perfect. So if I'm hitting, you know, right edge of the large target in whatever sequence, you know, I'm going to compensate for that by aiming slightly to the left edge of the target, hopefully center up on the smaller targets where there's a little bit less wiggle room. So if these tips and tricks helped you score more points at your matches, let me know down in the comments below. And until I see you next time, as always, score more points.